What's going on, guys? Long time no see. Been pretty busy with just other things. Haven't been playing a whole lot of Yu-Gi-Oh, but Power of the Elements is coming pretty soon. It's here just about. We got Nats this weekend, and then it is coming in just a couple of weeks, beginning of August. So we wanted to go ahead and get some testing done. Hakuna My Data just beat us to it. He uploaded his yesterday. Talking with our friend Alik Teep. He's also working on a build. His list is actually pretty similar to ours. Yassine did it a long time ago, so some of our good friends have also had the same thought. Make sure to go check out Hakuna My Data and Yassine's builds. First off, though, we got a handful of replays. We're going up against swordsoul first here. We see he does have Imperm, Vessels, Vishuda, Blackout, and an Ash. We have Cyber Dragon, 2 blue, 1 red, and SPLIGHT starter. He's going first here, specialing out the Vishuda. We're gonna not so much narrate everything. He draws into Adhara, or not draws into, adds the Adhara, dumps the Ashuna. Ashuna can go special summon the Vishuda, then set the Imperm, set the Blackout. We draw into a Cyber Emergency, which is pretty nice. Gets met by an Ash Blossom. Does not trigger it because it negates the effect, not the activation. Then we normal summon SPLIGHT. A lot of people will go ahead and pop like this because they say you need that level 2 on board to get rolling, but we do have SPLIGHT starter, so it's not going to matter here. So he pops a whole bunch, then we go SPLIGHT starter, special summon the carrot, just because we want to put out one that we don't necessarily care about a whole lot. And we have blue in hand. I guess we could have went for Jet just to grab another copy of Spell, but then we can special summon the red. So now we have that monster negate, then special summon blue. Blue, go ahead and get the Jet. Or no, we went for carrot because one more back row carrot can negate it. That's how we did that. Then special summon the Jet. Effect, go against starter. Go into our Gigantic. He's going to Imperm here. Wasn't really thinking. I did do my play lines wrong. I should have went. I mean, if I would have get Gigantic first, it would have forced it anyway. But then I would have been able to pop it to dodge the Imperm. So I definitely misplay out quite a bit in these replays. But we go ahead and we summon out the red back because he's negating the elf anyway, and then we're just going to bring out the dupe frog so it can go and get us follow-up for next turn. And then we're going to go ahead attack, and then going into IP, not 100% sure why the dupe frog didn't activate because it went from the field to the graveyard. But yeah, it didn't let us activate it, so maybe I missed something, I don't know. But then we end with the IP and the SPLIGHT elf. The starter could go ahead and special summon, a Jet or blue, whereas elf can also summon out Jet or blue from the grave. So it'll grab us another starter and another SPLIGHT monster. So we'd have 2 more in hand. Go into your unicorn. You can obviously pop that way or spin that way. SPLIGHT red also would have our negate, or you could go into a 3 material Appaloosa for 3 monster negates, just putting us in a pretty strong position no matter what we decided to do. We got a couple more replays though. This time we're up against a branded Buster Dragon or Buster Blader with Dragon Link. He's gonna go ahead and end on fusion, turning everything dragon and the prologue. So we go Lightning Storm, we hit the monsters. I like the going second power cards. Now we can just start playing. He's gonna though drop a prologue on us, so he's gonna get us Buster locked again. So we outed it with the Lightning Storm, but then we have Dark Ruler and we can actually out it twice in one turn. So that works out pretty nice. Then Soldier and hers. We have the red and starter in hand. The deck is just pretty crazy actually. It can brick here and there. I've been working on this list pretty tirelessly. We went 7-3 in testing. Our matchups, we obviously beat swordsoul. You see the Buster branded here. Checking my notes off to the side. We split our 2 matches with SPLIGHT, 1-1, lost 1. We beat Despia twice. We had against Dark World with their new support we beat. And then we played Tearlaments 3 times and we lost 2. That deck is just so annoying to play against. I'm going to have to look into it way more. But here we end with Toad. Elf can bring Toad back, so double Toad, IP, Infinity, pretty strong end board there. Now we're on to one of our Tearlaments matchups. He opens the Sphere Mode and the Effect Veiler. He's going to go ahead chains 1 and 2. This is one reason I just really don't like Tearlaments. Like, it's his turn, or my turn 0, and this card, it just starts letting him pop off on my turn. Luckily he only hit the 1, so he didn't hit a whole lot, but then like he just starts to get popping off on my turn, and it's kind of, you know, unfortunate. Not the most interactive fun game out there, but luckily his hits weren't that great, so we do end up surviving here, and we have the D barrier to at least do a little bit. Goes into the cross sheep, sets out the meta noise. We're going to D barrier to turn off that the Millennium Miser Strict, because we would lose our core otherwise. Then we can normal summon the core. He's going to hit it and book it, which is okay. You might think you could still Mega Fleet, but remember we did D barrier, so we can't special summon our fusions this turn. But that's going to be okay, because we still have Infinity hers, and he has the Sphere Mode in hand. But with our hand, we're actually not even going to end with 3 monsters on board. I mean, maybe we would, but I'd end up like going into Zeus, I guess, get hit by Sphere Mode and see what he does. But Called by the Grave also is going to come in really strong there. 2 more replays to get through quickly. Here we got a Dark World one. He opened a lot of draw spells, and I really wasn't sure if I wanted to negate them. Well, I apologize. This is a lot of talking early in the morning, so there's that. But we're getting the Toad set up, so we're gonna have the double Toad plus the red for the negate. So 3 negates, 1 monster negate, 2 omni negates, and Toad just generates so much advantage and follow up. It's insane. Thought really hard about negating it. Thought not as hard about negating the second one. And then Dark World Dealings though. Like, I let these resolve because it's kind of just 2 for 2 trades. I knew he was going to have a dark each time, so he's fixing his hand, so that's why I was debating negating it. But it wasn't really doing anything to the game state directly, so I wanted to kind of hold off. But Dark World Dealings allows him to draw or discard and start gaining effects that way, so I wanted to kind of prevent that. So we go Frog, set it, which also gets it away. Go ahead, add back. We misplayed big here. SPLIGHT Elf, wait till they put a monster on board, because you can't summon your Toad. So yeah, I mean, we got the droplet for a whole bunch of sends, and we can even draw next turn. But again, we don't want to give him discards to go. But yeah, don't SPLIGHT Elf until they have, you know, a monster on board. So we actually go into our Droll then at that point, which is just going to be really strong for us. And then he hits Nessie into Nessie. Pretty much only way he could do anything there, I guess, would actually not really anything, because even if it summons, he ain't going to get the draw, and that sets the Dark World Dealings. We're just in a really good position. But yeah, put this replay in here, because remember, Elf only can summon XZs when they have a monster, so don't just get a little trigger happy and summon it too soon. So don't want to do that. Here we do open our Carrot, so it's pretty much the 2-card combos we're used to between like hers, Soldier, Core, Emergency, and all that. And then if you open any of your SPLIGHTs, you can also access your Frog engine, which is just really strong too. Like, it's crazy. Core on its own also can set up a subpar SPLIGHT combo. But like, Core Extender can make Unicorn Spin, Toad, or not Toad, Unicorn Spin, SPLIGHT negate, whether it's Carrot or red, and your Infinity. So like, I mean, that's pretty good. Like, 3 disruption off your 2 cards. It gives us a lot of utility, and you just gotta mess with it. Like I said, I'm really happy with where this build's at. We'll get to the deck profile right after this replay. So we're gonna go ahead and negate that poly, but also because Toad can set it, which means if he goes into a Guardian Chimera like next turn, if he gets that far, poly's not in the graveyard, so he wouldn't get that targeting protection. And then we still obviously have the Infinity negate here, so then he's out without a normal summon. Then we're going to get our Toad back again. We would be able to negate the Nadir Servant with our Toad, and he'd just be in a really bad situation there. So those are the replays. Let's get on into the deck list. So here we are running just the one Cyber Dragon. 42 cards overall, was at 40, was at 43, settled on 42. The one Cyber Dragon, 3 Cyber Dragon Core, 2 Cyber Dragon Hers, 1 Cyber Dragon Noxter, 2 Galaxy Soldiers, 3 SPLIGHT Blue, 2 SPLIGHT Jets, 2 Red, and the 1 Carrot. So going over the ratios here in a second, 3 Frogs, 1 Ronin Totem, 3 swaps, 1 Ronin, 1 dupe. 1 Cyber Dragon, pretty obvious here, like we're trying to be consistent, not bricking. Hers was getting awkward at times, like, and so is Soldier. Like we started with 3 of each and put them both to 2 just because like it got rid of a lot of the awkward hands, because you don't necessarily need to go for the infinity play route. Like Core can always just search Rev System if you don't open one of them, so it's not as needed to, and it just, I really like them both at 2. SPLIGHT Blue, obviously the best one. Jet, you could argue a 3 of, because Jet gets you starter, which gets you blue, which gets you red, carrot, whatever. But just for like putting the deck size down and everything, I found like 2 Jet to be good, because between blue, Jet, and starter, you still have 8 starters that way, and then you have your emergency and your core, so you're running 14 starters, and I've really been liking it. 2 Red, because kind of in the grind game that extra one does come up. Obviously you have your 2 Elf that can still revive it as well, but I actually liked having the 2 because like it can get awkward if you open one and you need to normal summon it to get your combos going, and then you can't access another copy. So I have actually really liked the second Red. 1 Carrot, then the Spell and Trap negate, 3 Swap Frog, 1 Ronin, 1 Dupe Frog. Dupe Frog really being, I mean, these two I guess are both kind of bricky. Neither one you really want to open ever. Swap Frog is also another starter actually, so it's like we're playing like 17 starters. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. 3 Ash, because it's Ash. My hand traps and going second cards and everything could definitely change at any point. 3 Emergency, 1 Repair Plant, 1 Rev System, just for the 1 card combos. 3 Starter. Dark Ruler's actually been really crazy, so main decking it, because we're not always going to go first, and if you go second, I mean, or if you go first and you open it, it's a dead card, but it's also like free auto win versus a lot of decks if you open it and drop it on them. This actually being one deck that suffers to it really badly. 3 Droplet as well. Then the 2 Talents and the 1 Called By. Haven't been running into a whole lot of like hand traps and stuff, so I don't necessarily know about Talents, but DD Crow too I feel like would just be really strong overall, so I'm really considering testing out DD Crow in the main. Like you hit SPLIGHT Elf's target or something and it can just be really good early on. 1 Mega Fleet, 1 Fortress, 1 Nova, 1 Infinity. We actually went to 1 Gigantic. Trying it out, haven't really gone into 2 so far in our testing, so that's why we did cut it down. 2 Toad, I've gone into the second Toad a couple times, but I might also go back to 1 Toad and the 1 Gigantic, because you can like Toad, send to grave, add back your Swap Frog, and then Elf revive your Toad, and then when Toad goes to grave the next time, you can always return Toad back to the extra deck the second time, so you get your follow-up and then you put it back in the extra deck. So I mean, there's that. New card, we haven't gotten to use it yet, but we put it in. Sky Cavalry Centuria, because it can't be destroyed by battle while it has material, and at the end of the damage step, if it battled an opponent's monster, detach 1 material, return it to the hand. So it's a free spin, can't be destroyed by battle. So like there's been quite a few times testing where my opponent had monsters that I could not beat over. They're all in attack, and I wanted, like, even if you Dark Ruler them, they're in attack, they're still too strong, you can't beat over them. And it's like, oh, I need something to be able to get into Zeus to just board wipe them and win the game. So Sky Cavalry was that card. So essentially you could just go into it, make it pretty easily, run it into something, and then you can Zeus and then, well, board wipe them and basically win the game. So Divine Arsenal Zeus, the Almirage, double Elf. Rarely 2 comes up. Between Gigantic, Toad, and Elf. One of those three is going to be a two of, or one of those three is going to be a one of. Kind of testing right now. I'm at the Gigantic. We'll see where we stay with that. So far, I'm pretty happy. I think it's going to end up being Toad or Gigantic. And then we have the IP, where you can go into your Unicorn or even your Appaloosa at times. Appaloosa is another one that I added in a little bit later, because there are some times where I was like, okay, I can get into Unicorn here, but then I have to discard my only card. Whereas I could also, in that same situation, go into like a 3 or 4 negate Appaloosa, and it would have been arguably better for me anyway. So I wanted to try out that variety, not worry about getting mega fleeted at all, because like I don't think Cyber Dragon are gonna be, they're gonna be less popular now than they are, or less popular in SPLIGHT format than they are now, I think, unfortunately. So, or maybe it's fortunate for us, but extra deck is complete, or side deck's completely just testing things. Nibiru hasn't come up. Drone Lockbird's actually been pretty good. Not necessarily main deck worthy, but definitely side deck it. Tearlaments can get really annoying. You know, some decks like that. Even Dark Worlds can get kind of annoying. Tearlaments just do so much. It's like even like way more consistent version of Adamancipator without quite the degenerate end board, but it's just not fun to play against. Like, I don't know, it's not fun to play against. 3 Lightning Storms, the D barriers obviously keep putting in work, and triple evenly matched. So this is our version on the deck. Let us know what you think down below. Also, updated post Power the Elements tier list coming to you guys very soon. I don't know, this weekend sometime. And we're also going to have a breakdown on SPLIGHT, how to beat it, and Tearlaments too, because if you're going to be like me, when you first play that deck, you're going to be like, this sucks. And you'll kind of get the hang of what to do where. But I mean, I'm going to try and help you guys jumpstart that process. So without further ado, guys, thank you for watching. Sorry I was gone for so long. Hit the subscribe button, and we're back. Take care.